Hello everyone, welcome my YouTube channel. Kuleba calls for Russia to be stripped of its seat in UN Security Council due to war crimes in Ukraine. Ukraine's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, has called for Russia to be stripped of its permanent seat in the UN Security Council due to numerous war crimes committed by Russian troops in Ukraine during the full-scale aggression against the country. After committing the crime of aggression against Ukraine, numerous war crimes, undermining global food and energy security, should Russia still occupy the seat of a permanent member of the UN Security Council? Kuleba wrote. The minister also recalled that Russia got the place of a permanent member of the UN Security Council on dubious legal grounds. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal has visited Chernihiv region to inspect infrastructure facilities that are being restored after Russia's attacks. Chernihiv region continues recovering from the consequences of the Russian occupation. Today, we inspected a preschool educational institution restored after shelling. We also visited a hospital and a children's rehabilitation center, where repair works are underway, Shmyhal wrote on Telegram. The Prime Minister emphasized that the government allocated more than 635 million Ukrainian hryvnias for the reconstruction of infrastructure facilities in Chernihiv region. According to the Ministry of Communities and Territories Development, 124 facilities have been reconstructed so far. During the working trip, Shmyhal also awarded volunteers for their significant personal contribution in resuming vital services in the region. As reported, more than 8,000 buildings in Chernihiv region were destroyed or damaged due to the Russian aggression. As many as 33 bridges and crossings were made inoperable and more than 1,100 kilometers of roads were damaged in the region. Oleg Zhdanov. How the armed forces of Ukraine overcome the Wagner Line. Zhdanov doubts that the Wagner Line, in its current state, is a big obstacle for the armed forces of Ukraine. The so-called defensive Wagner Line in the east of Ukraine is in primary training. All work has been halted due to the rainy season. Military expert Oleg Zhdanov spoke about this on Freedom. Now is the rainy season, and all the trenches that will come off today, without further engineering equipment, will all turn into a swamp. Their edges will crumble, water will be collected in these trenches. So far, this is the primary preparation of the defense line, Zhdanov said. How far the Russians will be able to occupy and hold it is a huge question. According to satellite imagery by Maxar Technologies, the Wagner Line, near the village of Gorskoy in the Donetsk region, reaches only about 2 kilometers, but Russia says it plans to strengthen 217 kilometers in this way. And to move them, there are a lot of ways, starting with the help of artillery and ending with engineering vehicles for obstacles or trawls that are installed on tanks, Zhdanov explained. Zhdanov doubts that the Wagner Line, in its current state, is a big obstacle for the armed forces of Ukraine. At the same time, it is difficult for an expert to call the line of defense of the work carried out by the RF armed forces on the territory of Belgorod. What they are doing in Belgorod is a little different. This is not a line of defense. We need some kind of firing points, strongholds of defense areas. It's not just a tractor came, dug, and left. 2 rains passed, and everything was washed away. It is necessary to build up everything, prepare flooring, make the lining of trenches, pillboxes, and dugouts, bring material and technical equipment there, make ammunition depots, food stores, and so on, he said. So for the time being, this is a PR campaign aimed at intimidating citizens so that they do not speak out strongly, Zhdanov summed up. American journalists note that although the fortifications can help defend against a frontal attack, nothing prevents Ukrainian forces from simply bypassing them. Russian Defense Minister Shoigu holds calls with U.S. other NATO counterparts amid escalation fears. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu spoke with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and 3 other counterparts from leading NATO members on October 23 amid growing concern that the Kremlin could escalate its war in Ukraine as it suffers defeats. Shoigu's call with Austin was his second in 3 days. The two had gone months without speaking and have now had just 3 calls since Russia unleashed a large-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24. Shoigu also held phone calls with Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar, UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace, and French Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu. In those 3 calls, Shoigu conveyed concerns about possible provocations by Ukraine with the use of a dirty bomb, the Russian Defense Ministry said in a statement. The ministry provided no evidence to support its alleged concerns and the statements did not provide further details. Western defense officials rejected Shoigu's comments as a Russian pretext for escalation. A dirty bomb is a mix of explosives, such as dynamite, with radioactive powder or pellets. When the dynamite or other explosives are set off, the blast carries radioactive material into the surrounding area. At the same time, the Kremlin-controlled RIA Novosti news agency claimed without citing any sources that Ukraine could detonate a low-yield nuclear bomb on its own territory in order to blame it on Russia and thereby damage Moscow's global standing. Russia has already seriously undermined its own international image, especially in the West, with its unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, atrocities against Ukrainian civilians that some have called war crimes, the indiscriminate bombing of Ukrainian energy infrastructure, and its mismanagement of its military campaign from day one. Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons in the 1990s in exchange for a guarantee from Russia that its borders would remain sacrosanct, which Moscow violated in 2014 and again with its invasion in February. Thus, Russia is indirectly accusing Western nations of potentially supplying Ukraine with dirty bombs or low-yield nuclear bombs. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sharply denounced Shoigu's statement, calling the allegation a Russian pretext for just such an attack. The world should react as harshly as possible, he said. U.S. National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson called Shoigu's statement transparently false, and said, the world would see through any attempt to use this allegation as a pretext for escalation. The United Kingdom's Ben Wallace refuted Russia's claims and warned that such allegations should not be used as a pretext for greater escalation, Britain's Ministry of Defense said in a statement, noting that Moscow had requested the conversation. Dara Massakat, a military expert at the Washington-based think tank RAND Corp, said the Russian Defense Ministry's statement was disconcerting. This reads like Russian false flag groundwork. Troubling that it's happening at the defense minister level, she said in a tweet. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that he would use any available means to defend territory he claims to have annexed from Ukraine. Experts have interpreted that to mean nuclear weapons. Ukrainian forces are carrying out a counter-offensive that is pushing Russian forces out of the regions its forces occupied in the first months of the invasion. Military experts say Ukraine, backed by Western conventional weapons and training, could win the war as Russian forces are stretched. A Ukrainian victory could undermine Putin's 23-year hold on power. Good day to everyone.